All right, I got another live play for you guys. And again, I will only play one table with the goal of talking you actually through every single decision I'm having. All right, first one here, not a real decision with 9 deuce suited, but against a 70 BB stack, limping from middle position, I would be quite wide. So we'll talk through all that. Ace7 off, still not an option here, even though we have some nittier players on the table. And yeah, I like the last one a lot, so I'll try that again. And hope to get some action to talk you through pre-flop exploits, to maybe get a 1, 2, 3 very interesting hands in as well. And yeah, 10-4 off, that's the fast fold button. There are spots where I can increase my range to any 2 on the button, but there I need very clear reads. So while the pool is loading, I think it's still in the morning, so it's not that full and it needs some time. 4-8 off, not a question, so I'll have some sips of coffee while waiting for action, and definitely open raising that queen jack suited. Queen 9 suited here being my line to start with. Some tables I'll go with queen 8 suited as well. But as you hopefully figured out in the pre-flop videos, especially about raising first in, the earlier our position, the less we can exploit. So if I say like, okay, from queen 9 suited, I can sometimes loosen up to queen 8 suited. We're talking about suited combinations. That's not the world. And yeah, this is just a slight increase on the button in the small blind. We can go crazy. This is definitely okay to open raise probably. We have a reg in the small blind. We have a 70 BB unknown. If I had like 50 hands on him and he being kind of nitty, I would consider this one. I guess in that spot, king 8 is my standard. I would have definitely went with king 7 and king 6 just because of the fact that I can give myself some future edge when he is like is an unknown and plays a 70 BB stack. And yeah. Ace 3 suited, not questionable at all. Facing that 3-bet from the big blind, we'll call some ace 5, ace 4 suited. I think it doesn't make a big difference. It's just that, well, he might have ace 4, ace 5 himself, so that like the lower the second card, not kicker issues, but it's just a little worse. And same guy again, but jack 4 off won't make it. Jack 10 off, middle position, very close. I would consider it. Obviously not against the 3x. I mean, this is a 3x from a 43 big blind stack. I guess that is enough to mark him as a weaker player. Sorry about that. And yeah, let's keep going. So I'll keep an eye on marking those players with 23-7. That is enough for 31 hands, that gap. I mean, it can still be a solid reg, and he actually earned his way to not this. Okay, like this. That's like my standard drag attack. He was probably tighter a while ago. So he had the attack. Let's see. Ace 10 off, already thinking ahead against the button. I'm sometimes 3-betting, sometimes even folding if I don't have a reason to play a wider strategy than 3-bet only versus 2.5x. And yeah, this is our first spot now. Definitely. With that player in the big blind, a standard player on the button, I'm going to min raise everything I'm open raising. I hope I see that usually. King 10 suited is obviously a standard open, but I want to make use of him not playing hands. And I do that by just widening my range quite a lot. Here we have multiple options. I think a solver would just suggest quite a lot of bigger sizing, this or this. I like to go small with everything and just play a small bet only against that player type who plays like that pre-flop, is that type of player who folds probably his ace 10 right away on the flop as well. So I want to give him trouble with that. Now, turning that open ender with the queen to the super nuts. Yeah, I think he I mean, he probably does not have 10-8 off. He probably does not have Jack-7 off and 9-7 off. So I can consider overbetting as well. Um, I'll go with a normal bet here. It's just six very clean now. It's not 8, but would definitely be an option. Ace-6 suited. Sometimes call, sometimes 3-bet, sometimes fold. One of those hands. Multi-way. I think I like the flat a little more. Suited aces do well. I would rather take like some offsuit stuff to a 3-bet here. I was in the 3-bet camp because we have a nitty player on the big blind, even though it's very low sample. And Sin Sadia, the open raiser, looks pretty loose so far, so maybe he has even an eye on that and is a little lighter, doing the same thing I'm doing here, that he open raises maybe ace-9 off, something like that, from that position sometimes. My overcalling range here, I obviously have some pocket 8s, I obviously have pocket deuces, but that's about it. So I'm mixing it here with betting and checking, and this time I'm going to bet, lower my my kicker the more I like the bet, and I actually won't bet too often, so I go with a bigger size, not that small step. I can face quite some check raises actually. I guess, I mean, the 27-9 guy will just play face up, and yeah, I have a nut flush draw, so but it's way more about the thought process, right? How does my range hit here? How often do I want to bet? And therefore adjusting my frequency. Do I bet small and push equity like on boards where I have a huge advantage and then use like high frequency small bet, or do I polarize a little, I have it or I don't have it? And here this is sometimes a 3-bet, or like sometimes a 3-bet, mainly a call. I'm going to call here, but both options are fine. And I mean, against that small size, this is a board where lots of people use a big size and the solver suggests so. I see this here often being on the weaker side. So this is definitely a hand I can check raise with my gut shot plus backdoor flush draw. And I like being on the check raise heavy side, especially on those boards where a big bet is allowed, but people keep betting small. So this is often a range bet. The 6 does not improve me like any of my draws, but this is now one of the best ones I'm having. And I have pocket 8s, I can have 8-6 suited, I have deuces, I have jack 8, and this is how I play that. That nut equity type hands. So I guess that's totally fine. And yeah, I was a little more on the aggressive side on the flop. Just always going for a check raise with a hand that is a fine mix. Both calling and check raising are fine. Queen 7 against a loose player does not make the cut, so I just give it to him. 8-9 off, middle position, nothing to worry about, and Queen 9 off here. 7-3, so we see that guy. Is it the guy with the 70 bigs I've talked about quite? I always forget the names, but now it seems like 14 hands and he played one of them. So we'll keep an eye on that kind of stuff. Just regarding race first in or just VPIP, small sample is definitely fine. Right here on Johnny Q2, we have 500 hands, 18-13, not even 6% 3-bet. That's enough for a super nit so far. So I would have been on any 2 small blind first in, for example, against him. King off. I don't have, I mean, actually I have a reason to decrease my sizing and play a wider range. Again, one person that is not 3-betting, that is not doing anything, yeah, staying bigger is fine as well. It's just depending on how much we want to increase our frequencies here, and how much the small blind might react to that. So actually I can do whatever I want here. And again, same thing against people that are not ready to play many hands. I like to use the small sizings to just pressure them on like, or forcing them to do what they don't like, pretty much. So yeah, I would be checking down now. Him just having all kinds of king queen, queen 10, king 10 probably calling, never check raising, those type of passive players. So I'm far ahead of that. And well, someone just like donking now on that card where I have still everything. I just going to be a nit. Like if a 21-11 player decides to do something, obviously he could just like say, hey, he has more jacks or whatever, and go for it. But yeah, no need to find out with a pure bluff catcher that is not even improving to something nice. King Jack suited might actually be close against a tighter player who snap opens a 3x from under the gun. So I will play that one a little cautiously. Range betting definitely fine on that board if we play reasonable ranges. I will, yeah, bet this one here and then either decide the sizing I wanna put in on the turn, or check back to see what he does on the river. And now we have exactly what I was not looking for. So this play, I don't expect him to have pocket fours ever. So this is pretty much like pocket fours, pocket sevens or ace king, but with a backdoor flush draw, I'll give it a go. I don't want to hyper exploit stuff like that, given the 83 hands I'm having. Might still be just like a bad run and TNT would be okay, but now I just improved to a gazillion flushes. I have hands like ace king offsuit, pocket aces with the diamond, so I'm super happy to just fold a hand here that cannot improve at all. And yeah, not really being worried about him ever being bluff heavy there. So that's totally fine with me. And that is not the nicest board. I think betting small can make some sense, getting called by weaker ace-x, especially by players who are not raising enough on that board type. But now, I mean, against this, I don't think that the small bet is too much of a thing here. I'm calling here once. I think he should mainly work with a big bet here, and I'm trying to value block bet this one here on the river as well. That feels like lots of just ace-9 stabbing, getting one bet in, whatever. He will have some queens. I have more queens, and yeah, not folding my ace-king high to that type of bet. It's like really the question is, what does he attack with his small sizing? Okay, my ace-5. But that's about it. Everything else has a pair or a gut shot or 2 overcards or whatever. Backdoor flush draw. So I don't like his sizing there too much. But I think it's really great against the pool, right? Again, having all those nitty players who are just lost when they don't hit the board really. And this is what I'm doing. Or I did explain before what I'm doing as well. Just like keeping those small bet sizes there. Ace-10 off. Versus under the gun is not an option to 3-bet. Ace-jack off is actually not a 3-bet either, so we want to stay really tight there with 3 players behind and a very strong range opening. Jack-4 off. And yeah, unknown big blind, definitely opening this one here. Nittier player in the cutoff, not nitty enough for the super nit tag, but yeah, something to keep in mind. And this, I mean, I don't know, 70 bigs, this is enough for me to just say like probably a weaker player. If not, I will find out. Same thing here, 28-6, 85 PB stack, boom, enough. Well, that's the first guess. Three, 6 off, only Rex, 1 nit on the table, so definitely not playing that, hoping for the walk. Sometimes against weaker players, we can make something happen right here. I mean, he has 49% raise first in small blind, which is quite high. Given that here, he has 68% fold to 3-bet, but that's not enough for me to go with any 2, right? I would have been in here with like a 10-6 off type hand to go for like a very, very bluff heavy 3-bet strategy and increasing that frequency from the 18-19 I'm usually playing to something in the 20s. But that read was not strong enough to really go for the 6-3 offsuit. 8 deuce off though here would be totally enough to open raise against Johnny Q2 here. So definitely don't want to use the snap fold button here. Obviously when under the gun open raises. That's it for us, but interesting. I mean, that's a pretty good pool right now. I see like every table we have either like weak play or potential weak players or super nit or like all the times those spots where I just know where the money is coming from. This is kind of a trouble spot. It is sometimes a 4-bet, mainly a call. He sizes up a little, so I'm not super happy with that, but I'm going to call. And this might be one of the boards that I like to donk quite a lot on. And I think people play very poorly against that. So I will give it a go. Obviously something like having 9-10 would be way nicer here. To have some kind of nut backdoor, because sure I have the backdoor flush draw, but improving now and facing a big bet is already a problem. So I obviously hope for the check back now to go for one big value bet on the river. Yeah. This is now, I talked about that in some of the live plays, maybe in one of the theory videos as well, where what is he snap calling on the flop? That's not like ace jack of clubs. And now betting big with a manual size up, right? So let's see that, $40 and not like a 70% button. So what I'm going to do here is just like, this is just not tens jacks. I haven't seen that in 5 million hands. So I'm doing a ridiculous fold here, but he's value betting only better hands. And I think there's no chance he's ever bluff heavy. So sure, maybe he has ace-8 suited this one time, but I just don't see it. Interesting board. That's our board. Not advantage right now, not advantage over time. Having a nice hand to continue with. I mean, we're range betting anyways, but makes it quite easy. So now we need to figure out what our hand means. So we have the queen of hearts, so we block king, queen suited. The ace of spades is not really that relevant. So I will sometimes bet this, sometimes not. I would prefer to have the ace of diamonds to unblock like his ace 10, his other ace 10s. Right now I'm blocking ace 10 of spades, which should be mainly a turn fold for him. So yeah, when it's about 3-bet pots, it's just really about 1 or 2 combinations that we block or unblock can increase fold equity by just the amount we need to make it a very profitable play. And so I always try to find kind of a ranking. I have all the ace-king offsuits, all the ace-queen offsuits in those spots. So I always want to have the idea of which one is the best of all those combos, which one is the worst. And this is what I tried to explain, right? My queen was good because it blocks king-queen suited. My ace was whatever, not really good. I mean, here it's close against under the gun, betting big here. But against a weaker player, I think I have the implieds that he does not really potentially understand that king-queen is not nuts when I hit my queen here. And yeah, maybe there's still a random c-bet and he's giving up then, but not trying to move him off anything. So yeah, that thought on the 3-bet pots is pretty important when you think about, okay, what should I do here? Should I bluff? Should I not? Right? I want to think about my range and think about, hey, what is my first bluff? What is my best bluff? What is the weaker bluff? I think the ace-queen is a mix there. Right? I'm folding out, for example, something like ace-jack. I'm happy to keep that in. I'm happy to keep in something like queen-jack as well. And so it's like not necessary to bet that hand, but folding out a random 10 or just a pair that you floated maybe once is a big success while still having nut equity. Okay, this is actually something I can sometimes check that back here. Just blocking weaker flushes here. I'm mainly betting. Bigger bet is not allowed, so I'm just betting 75% on that turn. It's my only sizing after only betting small on that flop. Pretty standard, I guess. 6-8 suited, not an option. 6-10 off. Nope. This is interesting. So we have someone who is not 3-betting so far in the big blind, but VP IPPFR looks like might be okay. Then we have a, I don't know, loose passive player in the small blind. That's good enough for me, right? Just assuming those might both be weaker players. Queen deuce suited, good enough. Want to stay really, really flexible there when it is about the later positions, button and small blind. Ace 8 is an option as well. The cutoff is a little tighter. The big blind is again that potential weaker player. Now we have the problem that we have a looser good player on the button who's actually sitting there with 430 bigs and might be overconfident. No, just kidding. So he's a good player. So yeah, I didn't want to go for it. I was looking at the big blind and that told me loosen up a little, and the button told me don't loosen up. So I decided to just stick to my standard in a way, which does not include ace 8 offsuit from middle position. 5-9 off, not an option. All right, ace king versus an unknown player from the Philippines. Can't wait for that. Definitely going for 3-bet. Won't mix in calls here. He uses the 3x, so I'm using a very large 3-bet against that as well. Might even go bigger. But nine five off, nothing to talk about. 10-7 off. Nope, good player in the big blind, not an option. But always double check when you're in the small blind, right? Now king 7 off on the button, definitely enough. We have a tighter player in the small blind, someone who is tagged green. So far did not really 3-bet, so this is enough for me. I did not adjust sizing now. I just go with my standard and a little looser range here. But this is what I decide on the go. So he snap calls. I mean, this is like, his range is like lots of offsuit broadways here. Something like pocket 5, 6s probably. I'm not c-betting everything here against the small blind. I could do that against the big blind. But the king as an overcard, being the king of clubs, is just kind of a nice hand. And now I'm unblocking Jack 10, Jack 9, 9, 10. I might still have some equity. I have the club to go with it. So this is a good hand to barrel and then probably not barrel the river too often. But yeah. And yeah, I think he might still have like better king x of hearts. I don't see any worse hands really calling that often. He might have some queens, so I won't go for a very thin value bet there. And against half pot, he might have the freaking queen, but I will look that one up here. If he has a queen, nice hand, he got max value, but this is just too random for me. And yeah, king queen, the river at nuts, flatting that. That is enough that I actually would go now. Oh, there. So you won't see it, but on the side, I'm actually tagging him here. Green, that is, yeah. Definitely fine with my play here. So we have MP flat from someone with 50 bigs from Germany. That might be anything. This guy will definitely have something. It's like bluff squeezing with that sizing against that. Like he's ready to get it in against him. So I think about being like a little funny here and just stick it in. He can have some king queen suited though. And that means I won't do that and just want to give some options here. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that people like lots of people just jam ace king here, and yeah, some people in those stakes are really nitty, but always call off like tens and jacks when they see the jam. So I'm sometimes thinking about that, being a little fancy there. Obviously, just jamming aces doesn't make any sense, but I think it actually works out pretty well in praxis, and yeah, balanced by the pool. But I played kind of normally here, and apparently he had something he didn't want to continue, which is sad. All right, let's take that ace queen off here as the last hand, or let's randomize sit out next big blind. That's fine. And let's think about again, what did we talk about? What did we learn about today? Like again, the adjustments pre-flop. Very, very important to stay flexible in late positions. Keep an eye on tighter players. Keep an eye on loser players, on or like weaker spots where we have extra edge post flop. While I'm going for the overbet here, and yeah, we had like one nice spot with that ace queen where I showed a little how to think there on the turn, selecting your combinations in the best way probably, or like have that ranking when you have lots of offsuit combinations to not treat them all the same. Hoping to win against ace jack. If he has a flush or a two pair, that's fine. And ace deuce, yeah, always turn two pair. But yeah, that's fine as well. Standard play by me pretty much. We can have multiple sizings there on the flop, and yeah. So I think that was the main thing there. While I've seen that guy before, I don't know. Check this one, and yeah, always pretty interesting. If I really like, I feel how I play a little differently, or like see more stuff when I really just play one table and focus on the table lineup every single time. He has mainly tens, nines, and eights, so I wanna like king jack suited. I wanna target that with a big sizing. Find plenty of bluffs here. Something like 5, 6, 6, 7 of diamonds, just always going for it. And he called me off with pocket eights, so no reason to just. I see lots of people like putting him on a hand and then wanting to get called instead of thinking about our full range. And he just called me with pocket eights because I could be bluffing, right? So don't block bet in those spots when they just can't have anything pretty much. And 10 off. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, we did not make money today, but that's not the point of that session. So yeah, maybe you have some takeaways. Let me know in the channel. Give me some feedback. Yeah, talk to me in Slack, discuss stuff there, and see you for the next one.